Everyone, it's Josh from Prescription Fitness Physical Therapy and Sports Care, bringing another video tonight. I thought we'd talk quickly about how the foot and ankle controls the rest of the system, the rest of the chain. So first off is we're looking at an ankle, foot and ankle complex. So this is our right foot. Okay, so the foot itself is extremely complex. So there's multiple bones that feed into the system, but there's an integral mechanism that links the foot itself with the ankle, which then affects the lower leg riding higher up into the chain. So if we look at the ankle joint itself, so we have this bone in the front, which is called the tibia, and on the lateral side we have the fibula. So together this creates the ankle mortise, or the joint. If we look at the ankle itself, this bone right here, which is the talus. So the talus itself is actually wider in the front, and then tapers and becomes a little bit more narrow into the back. So this whole system, there's interplay as soon as our foot comes in contact with the ground. So the first thing, as we're walking along, okay, all of us are going to strike on the outside of the foot. So the foot comes down, we strike on the lateral border. So we're going to strike on the lateral side of the foot, and gravity, ground reaction, mass, and momentum basically cause the foot to kind of collapse down. So as the foot collapses down, this bone right here, the talus, what happens is the talus itself actually drops down and it rolls in. So as the foot's coming down into the ground, it's kind of collapsing down. The foot goes from a locked position, or what we call a supinated position, where all the bones are maximally rigid, and then as it collapses down, the bones of the foot splay. And they splay to help it absorb energy, but also splays to respond to an uneven surface. So as it does that, as the foot rolls in, the talus, which is, again, the talus is the ankle joint itself right here. So the talus drops down and it rolls in. Well, you can see there's a locking key mechanism here. So as my talus is dropping in, that's going to force this part, which again is the ankle made up of the fibula and tibia. So as this drops down and in, the tibia itself is also going to roll in. So that's going to cause things to start to roll. The whole system is going to start to roll. So here we go a little bit higher up into the chain. So here we have the upper part of the leg. So as this system starts to roll in, it's going to cause your femur to roll in. So as the femur starts to roll in as well, what that's going to do is higher up in the chain, that activates our butt muscles. So our butt muscle is key. So as the whole system is rolling in, the whole system is collapsing in, it turns on our butt. Our butt says, wait a minute, I want to control that motion, and kind of pulls and draws it out the other way, and that affects the whole system. So now imagine that there's a flaw in the system somewhere, maybe higher up in the chain. So if you've ever been to physical therapy and you're wondering, well, I came here for an ankle injury, but why are they looking up at my hip? Because the hip is a key player. So there's tons of literature and research out there which shows that people with chronic ankle sprains, they also tend to have proximal weakness into the hip, because the hip itself can't control that emotion that was initiated way down here at the foot and ankle complex. So foot rolls in, talus plantar flexus and drops in. That causes the lower leg to rotate in with it. Otherwise, one would be rolling in, the other would be rolling out, and that would create a problem at the ankle joint. So as it goes higher up into the chain, we roll the lower leg inward, which causes the femur to roll inward, which causes the butt to react and try to pull and control the whole system out the other way. So it's a complex system, and that's why when you go to physical therapy and you're going for a lower extremity injury, any good physical therapist is going to look at the entire chain. So they're going to do an assessment of the hip joint, they're going to do assessment of the knee joint, they're going to do assessment of the foot and ankle joint, because each one of these things is critical into understanding the dynamics of how this whole system works. And there could be a little flaw, especially let's say if you're a repetitive running athlete, where if it happens once, no big deal, but if it happens 10,000 times that or more, that's a huge deal. So sometimes there's a little flaw somewhere removed from where the symptoms are, which creates the problem. So hopefully that wasn't horribly confusing here on a Monday night, but that is a quick look at the foot and ankle complex and how the foot and ankle is going to control the entire limb. And we didn't even get into talking about what happens higher on up in the chain, because that gets even more complex. But if you're curious and have more questions, come visit us at prescriptionfitnessphysicaltherapypt.com.